Hello everyone and welcome to Ukulele Underground University, and this is Ukulele 101 week number 3. Alright, so sorry about last week. We were in here last week, but and the week before that we were at NAM. I was deathly ill last week, so I humbly apologize for that. And for all of you Aloha Friday jammers out there, I apologize for that as well. But we are here this week. I've still got a little bit of roughness in my voice, but you know what? So we're gonna trek through and we're gonna do week 3 of Ukulele 101 today. My name is Aldrin Guerrero, and I'm joined as per usual by Mr. Aaron the Voice Nakamura. Say what up, Aaron.
What's up?
He is just the voice there. No, you don't see the man's face. He's Aaron the Voice Nakamura. And also we have Mr. Kahai Ferguson. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
So me and these two gentlemen are going to be teaching you Ukulele 101 week number 3. So I'm going to be showing you today. We're going to be covering strumming patterns. All right, and these two gentlemen are going to be helping me out. Kahai is going to be working all the cameras and camera angles, and also Mr. Aaron Nakamura over here is going to be manning the chat because we are live. So if you are joining us here live, you can ask us your questions or anything regarding the subject or anything at all, and we'll try to see if we can get to those questions as well. All right. So for the most part, we want questions kind of more towards what we're covering today, and anything kind of relevant, and we'll make sure to answer those right away. All right. Let's take a look back at what we did so far on Ukulele 101. What's that?
Leading up to that, that's everything that we're gonna learn today.
Yeah.
Well, like so, it's kind of like all the slides leading up to.
Right. Okay. So on week 2, this is what we picked up. What's that?
Well, no, if you keep going through, like
yeah.
It's like an index. So that's
see,
everything that we're supposed to learn today, and then that's week 2.
Okay, I messed up. I got messed up here. I just want to get into the lesson already. Well, last week we taught you some minor chords, and we also went over tuning your ukulele. So as far as tuning your ukulele, we taught you how to tune with a tuner, and we also taught you how to tune using a string that's already in tune. So we showcased how each one of our strings are related to the other. All right. So just like, for example, our A string, we have an A note right here and a G string. So these two notes right here are pretty related to each other, okay? And you can tune the A string using the G string if your G string is tuned and your A string is off tune. Here's a quick example. So I'm gonna flatten out my A string right here. So if I were playing with this kind of ukulele and I'm jamming with my friends, it sounds terrible, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our G string. That's what we learned last week. So G string 2nd fret. And we learned that that's a little bit lower, so we can raise that tune to match up what we have here. So this is now tuned. When we play C, F, G, C, everything is nice and in tune. All right, so that's what we learned last week, and we also learned a couple of new chords, A minor and D minor. So for this week, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna scroll down just like what I had meant to do earlier. We're gonna scroll down to see what we're going to be covering for this week. So this week we are doing.
Each one has its own because it was big.
Oh, I see. My bad. So this one right here. So we're doing quarter notes because I saw 2 right there. So this is actually the first page in this week. We're going to be covering some quarter notes, and we're going to be doing quarter notes in 70 beats per minute. Then we're also going to be looking at our right hand and how to let our right hand naturally drop, and I'm going to be explaining that in a little bit. And we're also going to be missing the up strum, and sometimes we're also going to be missing the down strum as well. We're going to be covering 8 notes, and we're going to be doing those in 70 BPMs as well. I'm going to show you what BPMs mean. We're going to use the natural drop that we learned in that first section, and we're going to utilize that, and we're going to hit the up strum on the 8th notes. All right, so let's see. We're also going to be talking about the hands. They're going to be moving but not really playing, and that's how we're going to be missing those notes. So we're going to take a look at a regular down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up strum, and then we're going to take out ups and downs, and we're going to keep strumming, and that's how we're going to create strumming patterns. So it's creating our own strumming patterns here. I'm going to show you some common strumming patterns, and I'm going to show you how it relates to the down up, down up, down up that we used earlier. And you're also going to have a little bit of homework, and you know, if you want to keep what you learned and you want to you want to establish it in your own, you know, in your own playing at home. So after the stream is over, you want to be able to, you know, do this homework that I'm going to show you later so that you can reinforce what you learned today. All right. So here we go. So first, we did that. All right. Here we go. So first off, let's take a look at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So quarter notes. When we count in, you know, well, on Ukulele Underground. Here on Ukulele Underground, we have what's called strumming patterns. And if you watched any of our song lessons, we break it down by chords, then strumming patterns, and then a picking pattern. So we've already showed you what chords are, and now what we want to show you this week is how to create your own strumming patterns. All right. So let's start off with just quarter notes. What quarter notes are the numbers that's up there. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, each number is going to be a quarter notes. Why? Because in this particular beat, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's in 4. So each one of those, if we were to think of a big pie, all right, let's take a big pie and slice it up into 4 pieces. That's one whole measure. If you look at the pie as a measure, and a measure is this whole thing collectively. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a whole measure. And then we repeat it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a measure is a section of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the next section is going to be another measure, is another measure. That's kind of how we organize things in music. We separate them into measures, and in each measure there's the counts. All right, so for this particular measure, it's in 4. So that's where we get quarter notes from, because each quarter of that pie is going to equal one entire measure or one entire count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So if we do down strums on each one of the numbers, so you do our C chord right here, A string 3rd fret, use your ring finger or pointer finger, whichever one you want. If we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one of those is going to be a quarter note. That is a quarter note. So this is a quarter note. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So take that imaginary pie. We're going to cut it down into 4 beats. So that's going to be, each one of those is one quarter note. All right, and mostly we're going to be doing down strums. So let me tell you a little bit about down strums. Now, down strums, what you're going to do is you're actually going to take your hand, right, and you want to make it as loose as possible. This is called the natural drop, because we actually you would give a little bit of effort to lift up your hand like this, right? You're exerting a little bit of effort to keep it up. But if you just kind of naturally let it go down like this with no effort, that's the natural, that's the natural way that your hand will go. It's nice and loose, and this is how we kind of want it. Our forearm is what's kind of keeping our hand up like this. So just let your hand drop, this natural drop with your hand. So what we're gonna do is on the natural drop, we're gonna be pointing down to the ground, okay? Now what you wanna do is you wanna lift up and point to yourself like this. So just using your wrist, you're gonna twist your wrist, going up. See how I kind of went from pointing down to the ground, but when I point up to myself, I kind of see my palm, and I can see the rest of my nails. Almost look at my nails, and then not seeing my nails from down here. Look at my fingernails, and then down here. So that's kind of the movement that we want. So when you lift up, you're actually gonna take your hand and you're gonna make that effort, and then you're gonna naturally let it drop. So lift up, you're gonna do a nice natural drop. Lift up, natural drop. Now let's try that on our ukulele. Let's just take our left hand right now and just place it over the strings. Let's not worry about the chords or anything like that. Just take your hand up, start from this up position right here, and let it naturally drop, while taking your pointer finger and using your nails to kind of glide down the strings like this. So it goes like, so from the up position, you want to look at your nails, you want to drop down naturally. So a down strum is actually lifting up that hand and letting it naturally drop, like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the effort is in the up strum instead of the down strum. So you're not like taking that wrist, taking that hand, and like strumming down like this, like putting the effort to strum down. You want to just lift up that pointer finger. You want to point to yourself and naturally let it hit the ground, like so, or point to the ground. I should say, not hit the ground. So naturally point to the ground. This was actually brought up by Mr. Aaron Nakamura over here. Aaron was the one who pointed it out to me. The effort goes on the up strum and not the down strum. Can you want to shed some light on that, Aaron? Because you're the one who explained that to me right there.
No, I don't know. Well, you've been explaining it like that for a while. It's like a twist of the wrist.
Because in the beginning when we taught Ukulele 101, we're just kind of like point down to the ground, point down to yourself, down to the ground. But we want to be able to let you guys know that all the effort is in that up strum, and we want you to just let this wrist fall naturally so it goes back to its natural position. So this is our kind of neutral position that we want to look at. This is really, really, really neutral. It's not strumming anything. It's not doing anything. When you lift up and you let it drop back down, that's your down strum. You can also miss it. You can hit your strings in the up strum and then miss the down strum, or you can hit it on the up strum and on the down strum. But all of it, all that effort, all that goes with your wrist twisting up and then going down like so. So let's try to do 70 BPM. Now what BPM means is beats per minute. So if we're gonna look at 70 beats per minute, we're gonna use what's called a metronome, and you guys can just use Google. You can Google up metronome. There's an online metronome on Google. If you want to get yourself a nice metronome, you can also get yourself a nice metronome. But I have an app, a metronome app on my phone, and it says 70. The glare. There it is. 70 beats per minute right there. And if I press the play button, you're gonna hear a beat, and this beat beats 70 times in a single minute. So this is the tempo right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So say this along with me. Ready? Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're counting in 70 beats per minute. Let's try to do that with our quarter notes. So here we go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna miss on the up strum like we talked about earlier, and you're gonna hit the down strum on that natural drop. Okay? Here we go. 2, 3, 4. And make sure to count out loud while you strum. It helps you keep that rhythm together. Let's do this on our C chord. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're a little bit ahead of the beat or behind the beats, it's totally fine for now. But what you want to do is you want to try your best so that you can sync your strum to the beat. So here's the beat again, and I want to sync my strum. So I'm not gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, so you guys can hear this sync between my ukulele and the metronome. If you were playing behind the beat, it would sound like this. Okay, so the beat will go, and then I'll play right after that. So what you want to do is you want to keep it as consistent and as in sync with the beat as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. All right. Now, because we are not machines, it's totally fine if you're not perfectly in time with the metronome. What you want to do is to get as close as you can, because we're humans, we're not machines. We are going to be a little bit in front, a little bit behind, unless you're part robot. Then I don't know. Then I guess you would be playing everything perfect, right? I mean, I can't do it. A bunch of a bunch of people can't do it, but I've heard there are some people that can play exactly on beat. But you know what? For us normal people, for you and I, it's totally fine to be behind or in front of the beat. But this is a great tool that you guys can use. So this is a free app that I downloaded on my phone. You can use Google, you can use Yahoo, or whatever you guys want to use. Just search for metronome, and you can get yourself a metronome, or they sell those nice fancy ones. If you want to get a nice fancy one, go ahead and do so. But I think it is the best practice tool, because using a metronome, you can be on time, you can be on beats, and you can have that natural kind of, that natural rhythm. Because us humans, we can't keep it as, you can't keep it steady as the whole song, but we want to be as close to it as possible, because, coming in from like an audience point of view, if your audience is watching you play and your rhythm kind of goes faster in some parts or goes slower in some parts, it's kind of tough for them to kind of groove with you when you're playing your song or your piece of music that you want to play. So keep that in mind, all right? And metronomes quite handy when you are practicing your ukulele, all right? So now let's take a look at eighth notes. So what eighth notes are, let's look up here once again. The eighth notes are the and, so in between. So let's take a look at that imaginary pie that we have. So if you take that pie, we already cut it in 4, right? What if we cut it in 4 once again? So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we're cutting down this imaginary pie even smaller, it's going to be cut in 8, because 4, then in 8. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we've already established 70 beats per minute sounds like this, right? So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's a lot of space in between those beats. So the perfect middle point between those between one beat and the next time it clicks again is what's called the eighth note. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we take our right hand and we hit it on the up strum when we do that down up strum that we explained earlier, then that's what eighth notes are going to sound like. So on our C chord, we do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So in order to not make my hand look too robotic, because I just kind of want to show you guys the perfect middle ground or middle point between those two clicks. But what you want to do is you want to give it a nice natural swing. Okay, so it sounds a little bit more human, sounds more natural. So take that lift. Let's play our eighth notes this way. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So while it's not perfectly right in between of the two clicks, it still works as eighth notes. As long as we're syncing those down strums to this rhythm. Okay, so let's try it out with the 70 beats per minute. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready, C. 1. Right? So notice, I was in front for a little bit of it, I was behind for a little bit of it, but for the most part, I try to stick to the beats as best as I can. So that's a great way of practicing your ukulele, just taking a metronome and seeing if you can keep up with the rhythms. It doesn't have to be perfect, but get it as close as you can, all right? Any questions so far in the first section of this 101 week 3?
Alan said that he likes the idea of the pie. are cutting up the pieces of pie, right?
Yeah.
Like for the count, because because the pie is circular, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to think of it as that the measure is gonna come back.
Yeah, come right
around.
back. Yeah, that's cool.
So-
I saw that. I'm like, that is a great way of thinking about it. So
Yeah.
you eat the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, then you move on to the next pie. And the pie is the measure, basically, right?
It's like a refilling pie. It just
It's a
like
refilling, never-ending pie.
yeah.
So that's a great way of thinking about it. You guys got anything else you want to add to quarter notes and eighth notes there?
Like I know some people like visually like, or like when you say like, oh, try and listen to like the beat or listen to the metronome, they're not gonna understand like what exactly they're listening to.
Yeah.
And for people who think more visually, I like to think of it as like something that's like repeating. Like if you're in a car and you're driving by lights and the lights are repeating,
Yeah.
it's like you want to hit the lights, or you want to hit something that's, like if it's a pattern that just like flashing light, or hills and valleys, like if it's something like that, you want to hit on those marks basically. So
Yeah, it's like playing Guitar Hero. Hit it right on that thing.
usually like for our song lessons, we have the visuals, but we don't have it for like the live.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that like tell people who might not understand like what they're trying to do exactly,
Right. Oh, let's see. Is there another? I saw another question pop up there.
This might be later, like maybe at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on here. So the hand moving but not playing. So what we want to do is let's take a look at that down up down up down up again. So let's do a regular down up down up down up down up. So we have that down up down. So we have our eighth notes going, right? But it would be pretty boring if we're just doing this thing throughout the whole song, and it's just that going over and over and over. So what we want to do is we want to mix it up a little bit. We want to be able to to take out some of those strum patterns. So down up down up down up down up. If we take out an up, it's going to change it a lot. So let's take a look at let's take a look at this first. So right here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? If we took out the and, so if we took out an up strum, it would be just 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we looked at our metronome, this will make a little bit more sense here. Remember, this is our 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm only gonna count that and the 2 and 3 and 4 and after beat 2. So I'm not gonna count the upbeat or the eighth notes on the first beat. So it's gonna sound like this. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it's now gonna sound like 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what that is we're playing a quarter note because we're playing that whole beat right there. We're letting it ring out and we're playing on beat 2, right? So if going back to our our quarter notes here, remember 1, 2, 3, 4 is a quarter note. So that must mean without this up strum right here, it's going to be that quarter notes to begin our strumming pattern. So the pattern is going to repeat over and over. So every time we hit 1, we're just going to strum 1 time, then 2 and 3 and 4, and then it repeats just like that never-ending pie that we were talking about. The pie will go back. So that's why it's called a pattern. It just repeats over and over again. Yes.
Can you like point to it, or like play the metronome and point to?
Yes.
what
Yeah,
beats?
that's right. That'll be good. So we got 1.
But can you like point to the, or like
And then up.
can you show like what you're actually gonna do, like with the 1, 2 and 3 and
Yes,
4
yes,
and-
yes. So we got So first off, we have, those are chord notes. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, if we don't hit this first and, so if we take out an up, so we're taking this up right here, it'll be this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So I'm not going to play anything in between those two clicks. The first two clicks that we hear on the metronome, there's nothing played in between. Why? Because we're letting it ring out for its full value, therefore making that a quarter note. Okay? So if we were to play in our ukulele with the C chord, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So what does that have to do with hand moving but not playing? So what I suggest, instead of just going down and then like do another down right after, because we don't have that up strum, right? So you're not going down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. That's what people think when we give the strumming pattern. Some people think that like, well, I guess there's 2 downs, I'm gonna have to play 2 downs in a row. But it's actually, what we want to enforce here on week 3 is to have the hand moving but not playing. It'll help you keep in time. It'll help keep the rhythm steady. And how this works is, let's go back to what was steady. What was steady for us was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and our hand naturally moves down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the same movement, but we're just gonna miss on the up strum. So we're not gonna fully ignore it. We're gonna do the up strum movements but miss. So all you have to do is instead of hitting the strings, just pull back a little bit so that you miss. But I still want you to play or do the movement for the up strum. So 1, strum up, so miss, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Because why? You're gonna have to lift up your hand anyway to let it naturally go down. Because if it wants to naturally go down in this neutral position, even if we're gonna miss, even if we're gonna miss that first up strum, you still have to get it ready and lift it up anyway to do the down strum, right? Because the down strum is the natural, the natural kind of neutral state of our hand that we talked about earlier. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's take a look at it from this angle right here. So it goes like this. Slow. 1. So I'm gonna hit the strings. Yeah, we'll go like this so you guys can see it better. Then up, miss. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. But what you want to do is keep this consistent strum with your right hand, because that's what's going to keep that rhythm consistent. If this doesn't, you want to think of this as kind of like a pendulum. Like a pendulum will just naturally swing back and forth, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So a pendulum can't go one direction twice without having to swing the other direction first and then going towards that direction. You want to think of it the same exact way, right? Like a pendulum, it'll have to swing back and forth. So in order to get that left swing, or your right, I guess, your right, my left swing, it has to swing the other way first and then it goes back. You can't just swing and then swing again. It doesn't really work that way. So in order to get good timing and good rhythm with your ukulele, you want to swing naturally back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right, so that's what we want to let you guys know with the hand moving but not playing. So we can do the same thing on the down strum as well. So we can hit, let's see, if we take out, let's start with the down strum, but let's take out 2. So it's gonna be, goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we count it, be 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and and 3 and 4 and. Why? Because we took out 2, but we're still keeping this rhythm consistent. See, the rhythm doesn't stop. This metronome is not gonna wait for you. It's not, it's not gonna just stop because you couldn't, because you're not playing that down strum. It's gonna keep going so that you're gonna have to just catch it on the up strum right after. It goes like this: 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the natural swing. And if we want to keep that natural swing going, but taking out down strums, so now instead of our boring down up down up down up down up strum, we now have 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. But if you watch my hand will still move down for that down strum, but I just miss and then go up, because this hand is going to be that pendulum that we talked about. So it's going to be like the pendulum going back and forth, back and forth. It can't go 2 times, so 1 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Oh, now let's try to do it this way so you guys can see me missing that down strum. There we go.
I don't think you have to go like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. 1 and 3 and. I'll do it slow here. 1 and miss and 3 and 4 and 1 and miss and 3 and 4 and. So in order for you to to make some strumming patterns different, or if you change up the strumming patterns that you're playing right now, you can take out strumming patterns and that'll make it different. Instead of going, you can do or same thing. I'm just taking out different strums in the 2 different strumming patterns that I showed you. So same rhythm, but we're just taking it out. It changes it completely, changes the feel and all the, and all that goes with it, basically. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. Because what that does is kind of, because you're missing this down strum, it almost emphasizes, or not almost, it does, it emphasizes that up strum right before it. So the audience is going to hear that strum elongated and then another up strum on top of that, and down, up, down, up, down, up. Because us humans, we will feel a down strum and an up strum, a downbeat and an upbeat. So upbeats feel a lot different than downbeats. And when we showcase that in our strumming pattern, it's going to be showing different kinds of rhythm, different kinds of feel to the song, and that's how you want to take a look at music. All right. So, any questions in that?
Do you have any questions from YouTube?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some people they think that they have to go really fancy with strumming patterns, but just taking out like 1/8 note,
Yeah.
it does a lot.
It makes a huge difference,
So.
right? Because you're showcasing that that downbeat or an upbeat. If you're taking out rhythms, it's gonna showcase that. So for this, I wanted to show you guys a couple of most common strumming patterns so it gets you guys kind of started. But later on for your homework, I want you guys to just kind of go crazy and do whatever you want. So for let's take a look at the one on the bottom first, because that's what we did. So that down up, up down up down up. That's what it would look like without that down strum. So that's what it looks like right there, that down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. We took out 1, and that is now how our strumming pattern looks. So our strumming pattern here in Ukulele Underground, when we showcase strumming patterns, these are just suggestions. So it's not like it's ironclad or it's written in stone that this is the rhythm that you need to play this song. What we've done is we've kind of went through the trouble of doing this and created a strumming pattern for you so that you can play it for that song. But that doesn't mean that that's the only strumming pattern you can do, because you can just do a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and it should be fine. Okay? So if any of you folks have ever attended Aloha Friday Live Jams, we give you several strumming patterns to use. One that's a little bit more advanced, one that's not so advanced, and one very easy one. If you want to just do down, 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 as long as you're in the same tempo, 70 beats per minute in this case, it should all line up. So here, I'm gonna have Aaron Nakamura strum for me quarter notes. So strum some C quarter notes for me, Aaron. So Aaron's gonna strum his ukulele, he's gonna strum quarter notes in C. Here we go. And if I did 8 notes, it'll sound the same. Not the same, but it'll lock together like this. So it's going to lock up. So if you watch any of our videos and if you feel that like, oh, that strumming pattern is a bit too hard, or oh, that one's a little bit too complicated, oh, what's a chunk, or what's a roll? If you really want to play the song, you just learn the chords and just, you know, feel out what the rhythm is like. So, okay, this song sounds like it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Or if you want to make it really easy for yourself, just do down, 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 and you should be able to play the song, you know, as a but a little bit easier version of that song, okay? So let's take a look at the top most common that we see here. It's down, 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 up, down, up. So this is like the staple of every single ukulele club that I've been to. This is the one right here. If there was a BuzzFeed article of strum, like one strum that will conquer the whole world, it would be this strum right here. You'll never guess what happens next after he plays this strum. So here we go. It's down, down, up, down, up. So what happened was we took out the up strum after beat 1, and we took out the down strum of beat 3. Okay? So it goes like this. Down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up. So notice, same thing. I'm playing, but not, I'm playing but not playing. I'm not hitting the strings on this up strum, and I'm not hitting the strings on this down strum. But that's how we create the strumming patterns that we have for you here on Ukulele Underground. We just, we do the we do the legwork, and we're like, okay, well, this strumming pattern works for this song. So those are suggested strumming patterns on our song library. But if you want to, play your own strumming pattern in that song, go right ahead. There's no one set pattern for the songs that we have, or songs in general. You can play it however you want to play it, and this is the way to do it, all right? So what I want you guys to do as homework, I want you to practice this down, down, up, down, up, but I want you to be aware of the missing strums from this strumming pattern and this strumming pattern right here. So focus on playing but not hitting the strings, okay? So you're gonna move, but you're not gonna actually play those, okay? So the two most common ones, down, down, up, down, up, and down, up, down, up, down, up. So those are two common strumming patterns that we have for you here in Ukulele 101, week number 3. Any questions?
We gotta. It takes a little bit to get the questions. Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So as far as homework goes, I've already said, focus on that. I want you guys to create 3 different strumming patterns. So I want you to take out, some stuff, 3 different ones, and you can have up to, I don't know, like a lot actually of different strumming patterns. Even if you just take out 1, you have 8 different possibilities by just taking out 1. If you took out 2, you have, you have a lot. There's a lot of different combos and possibilities that you guys can come up with. So I want you guys to come up with 3 of them. All right? And if you can, make a video of the strumming patterns and use at least 3 different chords. So we only use the C chord today, but I wanted to focus mainly on our right hand, and I don't want to, add any new chords with your left hand. So all the chords that you've learned, C, A minor, D minor, F, G, all those chords, I want you guys to use it for your homework. And I want you to use at least 3 different chords with your new strumming pattern. So for example, if you want to use that down, down, up, down, up, I'm gonna use C, F, and G. So something like that, something really basic, nice and simple. Just make a video, and optionally you want to post that homework video on the UU Plus forums. Receive a student evaluation for the week. All right, and I know we haven't really been getting to some of the student evaluation because we've been gone for the past couple weeks, but we're gonna be right on it as soon as this is over. Okay, so we want to be able to encourage you folks to to keep playing the ukulele and to keep practicing. So this is a way that we can kind of monitor your progress and let you know if you're headed towards the right track or in the right direction basically. And we want to be able to catch bad habits early. So if there's something if there's a bad habit that you're doing, then we want to be able to let you know about it so you can fix it right away. Okay? Any questions?
Well, there was Alan's question from earlier.
Yes.
And he was asking about when you swing the eighth notes, because you were talking about not the eighth, the ones in between not being like exactly on, so it doesn't sound robotic. Do they usually come in early or late?
It depends. I mean, I know he talked about reggae versus blues. It actually really depends on the genre of music that you're playing, because something like reggae will be like kind of behind the beats. The beat will go first, and you kind of play behind it. Or
and blues.
And blues. But then you're playing something like rock. It might be like straight on, or it might be a little bit ahead on some like metal. I know some metal goes kind of ahead. So it just really depends on the genre of music. But I want you to get your kind of natural swing, because everyone has a different kind of swing to their playing. And what I mean by swing is playing a little bit in front or a little bit behind the beat, but still ending up on that good downbeat. So that like that or the eighth notes can be a little bit behind or in front, but as long as you're there on the downbeat, it should be all good. So something like reggae, don't worry about a thing. Like it just kind of goes right behind it. This is my tempo right here. Let's do a little bit faster than that. Do 90 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I'm kind of going a little bit behind the beat, but it's gonna give that kind of feel, that reggae feel, because it's very laid back. So you want to go right behind it, but not where like pop, pop, where it's super late. It's not super duper late, but it just sits right behind the beat. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right there. So like it goes right behind it, and it's fine. It's gonna give that laid back feel. Okay? Depending on what genre you're playing.
It sounds like it's like the notes are like longer, or it's like,
yeah.
Like it's more of a breath before like the next note comes.
Yeah. It's sort of like, I mean, I always kind of think of it as like if you imagine the song as a person, how would that person walk? Like how would that person
lazy,
walk?
Like
so
drag
like
your feet kind.
So if it's like the blues, I would imagine that person having like this kind of like swagger or like this kind of like a lazy kind of walk. Whereas if you're playing like marching music, it has to be right up, like right on beat. You're standing straight up, and your feet are hitting exactly on time. Whereas like jazz would be like totally different. It wouldn't be as on beat. So.
Right. And like I mentioned earlier, like metal, it's kind of fast. So sometimes it's like it's in front of the beat.
Yeah, that's more like you're driving it. So you're kind of like hitting notes harder. Or
if you took like that same reggae strumming, right, and then you made it more on beat, that would be like ska, right? Like it would just be like nut nut nut.
Yeah, or that's more like you would be jumping, right?
Jumping.
Where the up strum is more important, so it's kind of like skipping or like jumping.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier when us humans we feel downbeats and upbeats differently. Like the downbeat will feel different from the upbeat. So if you put emphasis on the upbeat is gonna get that kind of jumping feel to it, and on the downbeat it's like that kind of marching feel, just like what Aaron was talking about.
So it usually does, where the the strumming pattern matches like the feel of the song, like how like that emotion that it's trying to convey.
So, when you guys practice with your metronome and you're not quite getting it right on it, as long as you're as close as you possibly can, at that point in time, that's fine. Because I used to practice with the metronome and I used to get so frustrated because I couldn't get it perfect. But then once I kind of came to terms, I'm like, well, I'm never going to be perfect because I'm not a computer or I'm not a machine. And that's kind of when things, got a little bit better and I kind of found my natural rhythm. And yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah. And the more you practice, the easier it'll get
easier
to.
it gets. All right, so for next week, we have more right hand techniques. We're going to be doing rolls, and we're doing how to do a roll, all kinds of different rolls. We're going to be doing finger picking as well, and when we do finger picking, we're going to be learning about arpeggios, which is what finger picking is, and we're going to be looking at different finger picking patterns. We're also going to be learning a couple of new chords. Next week, we're going to take a look at 7th chords and how they sound like. So next week, week number 4, we're going to have more right hand techniques for you here on Ukulele 101. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stick around if you're a UU Plus member for Thursday live lessons that's going to be going on at 2:30 to 3 o'clock. It's going to be kind of like a state of ukulele address kind of thing. We're going to be answering a bunch of questions that you guys have had throughout the past couple weeks. And if there's not that much questions, I'm going to be doing a little bit of discussion about what we just went through. So we're going to be doing a further discussion on week number 3 in Ukulele 101. All right. So for all of us here at Ukulele on the Ground, thank you so much for tuning in to Ukulele 101, week number 3, strumming patterns. And I think Kahai wants to put in anything else you want to mention.
If they're logged in and they want to watch the Thursday live lesson,
it's on the same.
It's on the same page, but you gotta refresh after.
Refresh it at 2:30. So 2:30 we will start our Thursday live lesson. So stick around with that. And if you guys are not signed up for UU Plus, make sure to head on down to ukuleleontheground.com. Sign up for UU Plus, and you're gonna get tons and tons and tons of extra content just like this. So Ukulele 101, we do let you guys watch it live for free. You guys can like how you are right now. But if you're a member of UU Plus, you can watch us at any time, and you can watch the rest of Ukulele 101 at any time as well. So after we do this, it's going to be put up there as far as our archives, and you can watch it whenever you want. We did Ukulele 101 a while back, so if you want to go ahead and move on and watch the old Ukulele 101, we also have 102, 103, music theory, blues, Hawaiian, all sorts of different classes here at Ukulele on the Ground University. So if you sign up for UU Plus, you get all of those and more. Okay, so this is Aldrin Guerrero for ukuleleontheground.com signing off. Also with Aaron Nakamura and Kai Fergan. We'll see you folks next week. Aloha.